My grocery bill is out of control. I spent over $600 last month just on food at home. For how many people? Just me. Maybe my girlfriend 2 or 3 nights a week. Okay, that's high. Not catastrophically so, but there is real room to improve. Every time I try to cut it, I end up buying sad food for 2 weeks and then giving up and going back to spending whatever I want. That's because you're cutting the wrong things. The grocery bill doesn't go down sustainably because you buy worse food. It goes down because you waste less food and plan what you're going to cook before you walk into the store. Meal planning. And a few structural habits that the average person has never tried because nobody explained the actual math behind grocery waste. What's the math? The USDA estimates that somewhere between 30 and 40% of the American food supply is wasted. For an individual household, that often translates to $100 to $200 a month of groceries bought and thrown away. You can cut your grocery bill significantly without buying a single worse ingredient, just by wasting less of what you already buy. Food is the one major budget category where most people believe the path to savings runs through sacrifice. Buying worse ingredients, eating less enjoyably, accepting a lower quality of daily life in exchange for a lower monthly number. This belief is almost entirely wrong, and it is the reason most grocery budget attempts fail before the end of the first week.
The grocery bill is not high because you are buying good food. The grocery bill is high because a significant portion of what you buy never gets eaten, because you buy for variety rather than for meals, and because the absence of a plan before you shop means every shopping trip is driven by what seems appealing in the moment rather than by what you will actually prepare.
The USDA Economic Research Service has documented consistently that American households waste between 31 and 40% of the food supply at the retail and consumer level. Translated to household spending, this means that for someone spending $600 per month on groceries, somewhere between $185 and $240 of that monthly total is being purchased, stored briefly, and thrown away. This is not a small rounding error. It is the most significant source of preventable grocery spending for most households, and it can be largely eliminated without purchasing a single cheaper ingredient.
Meal planning is the structural habit that eliminates grocery waste at its source. A meal plan is simply a decision made before you go shopping, a list of specific meals you will cook in the coming week with the ingredients needed for those meals identified and listed for purchase. The mechanics are not complicated. Before your weekly shopping trip, spend 15 to 20 minutes identifying 4 to 5 dinners for the week. Build your shopping list around those specific meals. Purchase only what those meals require, plus your regular household staples. Nothing goes in the cart because it looked good or might be useful someday. Everything in the cart has a meal assigned to it.
The direct effect of meal planning on grocery spending has been documented in multiple consumer finance studies. A 2020 study by researchers at Deakin University found that households that planned meals before grocery shopping wasted significantly less food and spent measurably less per capita than households that shopped without a plan, even when controlling for household size and income level. The savings came not from purchasing cheaper items, but from purchasing fewer items that were never used.
Beyond waste reduction, meal planning reduces the most expensive grocery behavior, the default takeout decision. When you arrive home after work and your refrigerator contains random ingredients without a clear meal available, the path of least resistance is a delivery app or a drive-through. The USDA Economic Research Service documents that food prepared outside the home costs, on average, 3 to 5 times more per serving than the equivalent home-cooked meal. Every default takeout decision that occurs because home cooking felt too complicated or too unplanned is a $15 to $40 meal replacing a $4 to $8 one. Meal planning eliminates the decision-making friction that drives the default takeout habit by ensuring that dinner already has an answer before the question arises.
The second high-impact grocery habit is strategic protein purchasing. Proteins, meat, poultry, seafood, represent the largest single cost component of the average grocery bill. The price of proteins fluctuates significantly based on sales cycles, and most grocery stores run protein sales on a predictable weekly rotation, purchasing proteins in larger quantities when they are on sale, and freezing what will not be used within 2 to 3 days can reduce protein costs by 20 to 30% over a month's shopping without any reduction in the quality or quantity of food consumed. A freezer is a savings account for food.
The third habit is store brand evaluation. Consumer Reports has conducted blind taste tests across hundreds of food categories, comparing store brand and name brand products for decades. In the majority of everyday staple categories, canned goods, dried goods, dairy products, frozen vegetables, cooking oils, vinegars, condiments, store brand, and name brand products receive equivalent or near equivalent ratings from tasters who cannot see the label. The price difference between name brand and store brand across a full grocery cart is typically 20 to 30%. For a household spending $600 per month, that difference represents $120 to $180 per month in potential savings, with no change in the quality of what is consumed.
The USDA food plans. A monthly estimate published by the Economic Research Service of what a nutritionally adequate diet costs at different spending levels provides useful benchmarks. The low-cost food plan for a single adult is approximately $250 to $320 per month, depending on age. The moderate cost plan is $320 to $400. These are not austere numbers. They represent genuinely adequate, nutritious diets. A single adult spending $600 per month on groceries is spending at approximately double the low-cost benchmark. The gap between current spending and benchmark spending is where the opportunity lives.
Here is the full system applied together. Week 1. Write down every dinner you plan to cook for the week before you shop. Purchase only those ingredients, plus your regular staples. Spend 15 minutes organizing what you already have in your refrigerator and pantry before the shopping trip so you do not duplicate what is already there. Week 2. Identify one protein category you purchase regularly and purchase a large quantity on sale. Chicken thighs, ground turkey, or salmon portions, for example, and freeze what you will not use immediately. Week 3. Swap 3 to 5 name brand staples for the store brand equivalent and assess whether the difference is meaningful to you, us and you. Most people find it is not. Week 4. Conduct a use what you have week, a shopping trip where you purchase only fresh produce and dairy while building meals from proteins and staples already in your freezer and pantry. This habit, practiced once a month, both reduces waste and resets spending.
Ramit Sethi makes a point in I Will Teach You to Be Rich that applies directly here. The highest leverage frugal habits are the ones that replace unplanned spending with planned spending not the ones that replace spending with deprivation. Meal planning is not deprivation. It is replacing the default of undefined with the structure of decided. The food is just as good. The cost is substantially lower.
Your grocery bill is not out of control because you eat too well. It is out of control because too much of what you buy never becomes a meal.
So the grocery bill is high, mostly because of waste and missing a plan, not because of what I'm buying. Waste and default takeout when there's no plan. Those are the two biggest costs hiding inside most grocery budgets. Meal plan the week before shopping. Buy only what the meals need. Check what I already have before buying more. Those three habits alone cut most grocery bills by 20 to 30% without changing what you eat. And frozen proteins when they're on sale. A freezer full of chicken you bought at half price is a 2-month head start on next month's grocery budget. I threw out an entire rotisserie chicken last month because I bought it and then got takeout for a week straight. That's $12 of food and probably $30 of takeout that wouldn't have happened with a plan. The plan was always the thing. The plan is always the thing.